Welcome to Invisible Condition, everybody. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what that condition is, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never alone. Now, here on Invisible Condition, we understand that life can be tough. Every day can be different, and some days are just terrible, right? Some days are awesome, and some days are just awful. And but the thing is, here's the thing: there's always hope. There's always hope. So, if you out there, in particular, I'm talking to you, if you are in a spot where you go, you know what, Jeff, I don't know what you're talking about. I've lost hope, and I don't know what to do. Hope is important. I want to help you. Please send me an email. Just put hope in the subject line. You don't even have to say anything in this message if you don't want to. Just put hope in the subject line, and I will email you back, and maybe we communicate over email. Maybe we jump on a Zoom call, whatever works. I want to get your hope back. I want to get you your hope back because it's a big deal and it's important. And so that's what I would invite you to do, is shoot me a message on that email. So, all right, now I am excited to tell you about something that is brand new for season 8. That's right, we're in season 8 already. Man, time flies. We have a new sponsor in season 8, and his name is Jake Ellis. And Jake works with a company called Cutco, and Cutco makes the best cutlery on the planet. And I have a story to prove it. My parents, in 1981, it's 2026. Do the math. It's a long, I was born in 1977. In 1981, my parents had a Cutco rep come over to their house and, slice and dice and do the demo and all that stuff. They still have a set of steak knives that they bought in 1981 in their kitchen. And every time I go to their house, they're right there. I use them. They're as sharp as they were the day they bought them. They are freaking awesome. And so, and I'm just going to say it, amazing cutlery is elusive sometimes. Like I know that I have had a variety of crap in my kitchen, and not all cutlery is created equal. This stuff is amazing and it's guaranteed for life. So if you are somebody that needs something better, this is a great place to get it. And the best part is, and by the way, if you're a consumer, buy it for your kitchen. If you're a business owner, if you're like a realtor or a business owner that gives gifts to clients, oh, this is awesome. You can even personalize, you can engrave the something personalized on the blade of the knife and give it to that person as a gift. What a deal. And no matter how you do it, if every dollar that's spent on an eligible purchase he will donate a certain percentage of that proceeds to Hydro with Hope. He has partnered with Hydro with Hope, and he is donating proceeds from every purchase that's made through this show to Hydro with Hope. How awesome is that? So scan the QR code, get you some good knives, and you'll benefit Hydro with Hope at the same time. So thank you very much in advance. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is Hydro with Hope, which is our nonprofit. And that nonprofit is where we published this journal right here, this fill-in-the-blank journal, to walk people through the craziness of repeated brain surgery, which is what I've had. 7 brain surgeries in, baby. First one was at 2 weeks old. It was, I imagine, probably crazy for my parents. I don't remember that one. But I can't imagine having a 2-week-old going in for brain surgery. So that journal right there is a really good tool. My wife and I are also international speakers that go around the world talking to groups of all sizes, live and online, to give them hope, because brain surgery doesn't have to be the end. It could just be the beginning. So that is a donation link right there. You can donate monthly or you can donate one time. We love you either way. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is our studio sponsor, which is NRG, Network Referral Group. If you are a networker, if you're a business owner, you probably are familiar with networking. This group is the purest form of networking I've ever seen. In all the years of doing networking, in the decades of doing networking, I have seen a lot. And this is the purest form of networking I've ever seen. This is truly a source of never-ending referrals. And honestly, Mike at NRG, he owns Mike owns it, and he honestly has ruined me for all of the networking groups. I have trouble going to any others because there's so much fluff at other groups. This group, you show up, you get referrals, go build your business. That's it. No fluff. It's amazing. If you have ever thought about something like that, scan the QR code, check it out. Tell Mike, Jeff at Invisible Condition sent you, and he will let you know when the next meeting is. He has 30 meetings a week that you can go network at. So it's pretty awesome, which is why I'm a lifetime member. So, all right, that's enough. That is enough. We are done talking about that. Let's talk about our guest today because he's awesome. Today's guest is someone who understands what it means to face life-changing challenges that no one else can see, which is kind of what we do around here. Dwayne Morton is a former international basketball player, published author, little slip of the tongue there, published author. He's not a publisher. Inspirational speaker and resilience and integrity coach, podcast host, and mental performance expert. But beyond these accomplishments, Dwayne spent 18 years living with a misdiagnosed blood cancer. Misdiagnosis seems to be a thing in the medical world. Let's just be real. And also endured the trauma of witnessing a police shooting, which is kind of crazy. That would rock just about anybody's world. Today, he helps others transform adversity into resilience, purpose, and lasting strength. Let's bring this guy on and get this show on the road. I can't wait for you to meet him. All right, Dwayne, man, thank you for being here, man. I know there's been a long time coming. I appreciate you being here, buddy.
Oh man, thank you so much, Jeff, for inviting me. And also, like, I just like to start out and say thank you to the listeners, man. Whenever they're watching, man, they're giving time. And I think, and with my story, I believe time is the most valuable commodity. So of course, I just want to say, I'm so grateful for them to be able to come here and watch or view me and you having this conversation. And that's what I love about I love about these interviews. They're just conversations. And so I'm so looking forward to having another one with you, my good
Awesome.
friend.
Yeah, I love it, man. And no matter where you're watching, if you're watching on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or my LinkedIn page, or E360, but if you're on Facebook, YouTube, or my LinkedIn page, it's really easy for you to just drop a comment during the episode here. So if Dwayne or I say something that like sparks a question or sparks controversy in your brain or whatever, just drop a comment in there. I mean, we'll get back to you and we can have a conversation. So have at it. That's what that's what's so cool about social media. So and I'm going to put this on here too as well, because this is Dwayne's website. And so if you have any questions about that, you can put that in the chat too. We'll talk about that in a minute. Dwayne, I got a question for you that I ask everybody at the beginning of every episode. And it's been kind of a cool tradition because I love the answers I get. There's no wrong answer. But on those tough days, man, because you and I both know there's been tough days. On the hardest days, the darkest days, how do you still maintain hope?
I love this question and thank you so much for it. For me, it's just movement. And at that time when I was facing what I was facing, it was just move out of bed. It was, if it was just to get a glass of OJ, if it was just to go outside and grab the mail, it was just to grab and do one thing. It was just, movement was so important because I knew if I moved, I would feel better eventually, but I accomplished something. So it's kind of like the guy who did the speech about making your bed. And so
Yes.
I just simplified it to, hey, one thing, movement, OJ.
Get out of bed.
Right. Yeah. And more than just, so also Jeff, like there was days, and I'm sure, other listeners, man, I used to be a 4-shower guy like before.
Oh.
And then it was like sometimes I would have to skip a shower a day because I just didn't have the energy. Sometimes, and I think that's the other part with people just don't realize when you're battling something that you're really just trying to survive. You're not worried about what someone else's thoughts, feelings
Right.
are about. So I think that was really important. So I would say my first thing is just some type of movement.
Yeah. Nice. I love that. And I'm totally with you on that, man. I remember in 2014, my first of 4 brain surgeries in a row, within about 6 or 7 years. And after that, I had nonstop migraines for a year. And that was my time where it was like, you know what? Hooray! I put pants on today. I got out of bed. If I was really accomplished, I made it to the store and back, right? Like, it's like a little bit is better than nothing, you know? So, yeah, it's crazy. Well, and you have quite the unique thing here going. You, in fact, I have to give you a little hand because you now hold the record for the longest misdiagnosed person that I've ever had on the show. I had somebody on the show. I had a amazing young woman on the show a couple years ago that went 12 years misdiagnosed. She went from doctor to doctor to doctor, and they misdiagnosed her for 12 years with different stuff until they finally found the right thing. Right? You spent 18 years being incorrectly diagnosed. That's insane. What was that like?
Man, it was so surreal, man. It started out they only gave me 5 years to live. So let's count that first. And
Yeah.
then once I got about 4 years and I emptied the bank account and my all my savings by doing bucket list stuff, it was like, oh,
Nice. Okay.
here's more time. And then when they gave me more time, it was like, well, I'm broke. Now what I
Oh,
do?
crap. Yeah.
Right. And so that was the thing. And the thing about the misdiagnosis, man, it wasn't that I went through one doctor. It was the seventh doctor until he found it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, I want to share this part with you is sometimes when we were given a miracle, we're so dumbfounded and we don't realize it. Like I actually questioned the doctor. I was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "I've been diagnosed with this for 18 and a half years. Like, are you sure that like this is not what I have?" And so that's the thing is when we have those type of diagnosis, it's like a prison sentence. It really
Can
is,
be.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
that's the thing is I felt like it was like a prison sentence. I became it to identified with it. So it wasn't just that I used to be this former basketball player, former international basketball player. It was now I have blood cancer or, like those type of things. And so for me
Yeah.
it was, I felt terrible, but at the same time, the first diagnosis, like when they diagnosed me, it was just like, 24 hours before I actually had that the symptoms of what I had. I couldn't get up 3 flights of stairs, and then the next thing the day before I ran 2 miles that day and played 3.5 hours of basketball. So it was a complete different
Wow.
contrast, right?
Yeah.
So I really got to really see like, oh, something's up. Like I don't know what's
Yeah.
wrong, but it's something drastic.
Yeah. Well, you know what though? Sometimes those are the biggest blessings, man. Honestly, like the things the things that just kind of creep up on you over years can be like those can be scary too. But man, it's almost refreshing when it hits you out of nowhere, right? It's like something's wrong, you know. So, but the trick is you got to get it checked out, right? You like were you kind of like, well, I'll just sleep it off, it'll be fine, or did you like take it seriously and go get yourself checked out?
Nah, man, I had to take that seriously. I knew my body.
Yeah,
Like that's another thing. Most athletes know their body. Something was
totally.
wrong. And then the first time that I went to the oncologist, they were like, "Hey, we got to draw blood." And I'm like, I don't do needles, man. So I need to go home and sleep on this cuz that's how I take pretty much anything and everything. Like, "Hey, I need to sleep on it." And he was like, if you sleep on it, he's like, I got you. I need you to sign a piece of paper because you might not make it here,
Oh, jeez.
tomorrow. And I was like, oh, okay. So then that's when the seriousness factor went up even higher.
Yeah. Yikes. That's something I've never heard from a doctor before. That's pretty serious stuff right there. Yeah, if you don't sleep on it, you might be in trouble. Jeez. Okay. So then, so then you didn't sleep on it. You let them stick you and get the blood, right? You like. I know it sucks. I don't like it either. You know what? I've been stuck so many times. I've been stuck thousands of times over the years. I hate it every time. I can't even look at it. I can't even look at it. I can look at somebody, like I had stitches one time. I can watch them stitch my finger up and stuff. I can't watch a needle go in my arm. It's just, oh, I can't do it.
So
Is that for you too? I don't know.
so
Is that why you
it
didn't
wasn't
like it?
no, so it was at first, and so I'm glad you asked that question. But after probably about 3 months to 6 months of being consistently stuck, like it
Yeah.
finally just got to a point where I was like, okay. Um,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like I wasn't one of those people that wanted to watch it. I was just like, okay,
Uh-uh.
like I'll not watch it, and it's
Just
fine.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and now at this point, I'm good with like I can watch it if I have to, but I really don't. I don't want to. That's the other part.
No, no. That's the one thing I can't watch. Like I said, I had stitches in one of my fingers because I almost cut the tip of my finger off chopping lettuce one night, and we had to go to the ER to make sure it didn't fall off the end of my finger. And they just stuck a needle in my finger, and everything blew up about 3 times normal size. And then they went to work at the stitches, and it was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Look at that. But I can't watch somebody stick a needle in me. It's just, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so I mean, that was
So
another thing. I
weird.
just had to face that fear, and then it just
Ooh,
became,
yeah,
hey, it's not a fear anymore. It's just I got to overcome that, and
that's
that's really
awesome.
the story of my story is just overcoming, overcoming, and overachieving.
Nice. I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, and we'll get into more of that, man, because I know there's a lot of that over your life. So, but okay, so you had a lot of years that there was a bunch of like you were asking questions. I'm sure over those 18 years, like you weren't feeling awesome the entire time, right? Like there was stuff going on. You're asking questions, you're not getting answers.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm asking questions, and I'm getting, I know what I'm doing, those type of things, and that doesn't feel good because
No.
also I'm like one of those people. I'm like, okay, well, I'm a soda drinker. Okay, so I quit drinking soda. Okay, so can I go vegan? I really didn't want to go vegan. I went and looked at it. Like it's the other part. But I would make these changes thinking like, hey, this would be this magic solution.
Yeah.
Um, but really, man, I felt like I had the flu every day. No one wants to feel like they have the flu, and that's
No.
basically every day. And
Man.
so it was similar to like severe fatigue syndrome is what I had. And
Mm.
so at the time when I was diagnosed, it was a very rare blood cancer, and less than 200,000 people globally had it. Nowadays, there's more people that get diagnosed with it, but I
Mm.
truly didn't have it, so it doesn't. The symptoms were, that was the thing. I just had these symptoms, and I would run out of breath. I would run out of energy. There was just all these type of things, and I'm like, okay, hold on a second. And we tried different things. We tried, I did a lot of things, but the
Yeah.
doctor was like, you're not going to get back to where you're going to be able to run for a length of time, and that was the part that was like, I
Mm.
would be doing something and I would expect results, and then I wouldn't get results. And then I'm like, I would be frustrated. So I also
Yeah.
got depressed, was dealing with anxiety. And, lucky for me, I wasn't ever suicidal, but I also just started making decisions of like, hey, I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids. And I think that was really important for me because I didn't want anyone else to carry my burdens. I felt like my burdens were already carried by myself, my parents, and my little brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's totally, that's a decision. That's a decision that only every individual had to make for themselves, right? Like my situation was a little different. I was already married when we started, you know. I mean, I had a whole bunch of surgeries before I got married, but we got married and 14 years in, I started having, brain surgery, right? So we didn't expect any of that. So, but I totally get the sentiment, man. Yeah, like you don't want to foist it on somebody else, right? Like I'm dealing with it, let me deal with it. You
Yeah,
know?
it was just one of those things, man. I just wanted to just say, hey, Like, this is mine. I'm willing to carry it. Also, I'm a former international basketball player. That was my dream. How many people accomplish their dreams? Not many people. So I felt like, hey, maybe this is the trade off. And so I would go to the doctor's office and I would just want to shine my light a little bit for other people. Be
Nice.
kind to the receptionists and the nurses and to the other patients because they're also going through stuff.
Yeah.
So I had a different type of mindset to it because I knew, hey, from a spiritual part, like I was different. Let's show people that I'm different. Keep my personality at the doctor's office, but
Hmm.
when I'm back at home, then I can shut that part off and be frustrated, be upset. And that was I felt like that was that was a mask I was willing to put on. And I'm not sure if that was the greatest, but I wanted to hold that responsibility for other people.
Oh, no, 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 you are not, there's nothing wrong with that, man. Let me assure you, that is totally awesome, totally healthy, totally understandable. I did plenty of that myself, and yeah, you get out there and you put on the face for everybody out in the outside world, and then you come home and collapse, because honestly, it's almost more trouble to show that, because to show that to the rest of the world is almost more trouble than it's worth. Because I don't know if you've noticed this, but favorite comedian of mine, his name's Paul Reiser. I don't know if anybody remembers Paul Reiser from Mad About You back in the 90s, but he did a stand-up video a while back. And one of the things he pointed out, which I thought was very, very, very true, he said, there's a difference between two questions. There's a difference between somebody says, how are you? And there's a difference between that and how are you? Like, how are you? They're already 5 miles down the road by the time you get to answer, right? They've already walked past you. They don't care about the answer. If they say, how are you? Like, how are you really? Then they want to know, right? Sometimes you just want to save the world from that, you know? So I get it, is all I'm trying to say. You don't want to spread that around if you don't have to. Because it's
Yeah.
almost more exhausting to explain it to people.
Yeah, it
you
got to
know?
that point. It also got to the point that I was explaining to people who just they were dealing with seeing me at a different light, also seeing that I wasn't, they were seeing my mortality. And so that was
Yeah,
another aspect of it. And I didn't realize the impact of that even until now. Like, I'm talking about a couple of months, Jeff. Like, I've
yeah,
realized, like, friends in the past, they hadn't dealt with me being sick. And I
yeah.
didn't realize that they were still holding on to that as I'm healthy now for almost 2 years. But and that's the other thing, man, is like people just don't realize how much other people are going through because they're going through their own stuff. And
Seriously.
so there's that part.
Yeah,
But I was always very supportive of people. And so when I found out that these people weren't supportive, and it got to the point where it was like I had to separate myself from them at the last
right.
few years that I had it.
Well, and I don't know if I don't know if this is true for you, but for me, I don't know. Maybe it's just my personality. Everybody's got a natural personality that's kind of built in, right? Mine is very personable. I've always been a personable, talkative guy. So no, I don't care if I'm like I went through an entire year of nonstop migraines following a couple brain surgeries I had a few years ago. Like even then, I'm out and about. I'm at the store. I'm doing stuff, and I'm having conversations with people. Like I love having conversations with people. And some people are just like that. And then you come home and crash, right? But I don't know. Is that seems like maybe that's you too, right? You're just a personable guy. You just wanna have those conversations, you know? It's
So
almost yeah.
interesting that you're asking this because I'm not an extrovert. I'm an introvert, but I'm an introvert with a purpose. So I'm
Nice.
more talkative when I'm on a purpose or I'm doing something for like a cause or for others. But if it's just for Dwayne, man, Dwayne just wants to sit around and read a book. Or like at that point, it was just leave me alone. Let me just deal with how I deal. A lot of that was video games, man.
Hey, there you go.
A lot of it was being able to be competitive without actually being physical. I
Yeah.
ended up playing a lot of board games online and those type of things.
Ooh. Hmm.
So that was really what the things that I like probably spent most of my time on, is and at the same time, like I still felt like, man, that there was something going to change. That was the other part. I
Yeah.
had a couple of people with me and was like, I don't think this is final. And I don't
Nice.
know where they were so prophetic at. I want to shout out my mentor, Melvin Turner Sr., who just so happened to be a person who mentored Jim Rohn in public speaking.
Ooh,
Right.
what?
Yeah,
Come
so I'm
on.
in Jim Rohn's mentor tree, man, and like Jim. Melvin told me, he said your attitude is your altitude, and so he would
Yes.
always call and check on me about once a week and just say, "Hey, I know you're not feeling good," but he's like, "Just control your attitude." He was
That's
like, "Be
right.
grateful," and when those things were, even when I was in my darkest and dimmest like of light part, I still was grateful for I knew other people had it worse.
Right. Well, and you thankful for your next breath, thankful for your next meal, thankful for your next good night of sleep that you got to wake up the next morning, right? Like you get you you start being really thankful for really simple basic stuff, right? Um I mean that's kind of how I felt, through a lot of that, a lot of those four in a row brain surgeries. You got pretty grateful for pretty basic stuff that was really humbling, honestly, to me. I don't know if that was your experience, but it really kind of knocked me down a couple notches.
Yeah, I mean, so my mom and dad, they would always like when we would go visit, they would always bring. We'd had like a freezer full of like frozen spaghetti and like different
Nice.
like hamburger helper and things like that. And I look back and I'm thinking and I'm like, and there was all kinds of other food. I'm just thinking of those two
Oh yeah.
because but that was the thing, man. There was always something that one of my family members was doing for me. Also, all the money that I had was gone. So my parents were, they were filling the bill whenever had to go to the doctor's offices,
Yeah.
had to go to a therapist office. And that's the other part, man. My parents are rock stars with supporting me in their own way.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
the other part is I had to realize that maybe I wasn't supported the way that I would have supported myself, but there was other people there that were supporting me in the best way they could.
Right. Well, and the crazy thing is, over the years, I have noticed, and I think this is just baked into humanity in general, is that most people, not everybody, there's a few jerks out there, but most people, I'd say the vast majority of people really just want to help. Like they hear that you're going through something, especially if they love you, especially if they're a friend of yours, right? If people want to help, people want to help, whether it's your parents or friends from, school, work, church, whatever. I think people want to, and I love that you. I mean, I hate to say it this way because you didn't really have a lot of choice in some of those matters, but you let them. you know, you validated them by letting them help you in whatever way they could.
Jeff, there was times, man, I was just like, I don't know where my energy has gone. What,
Right?
it was just zapped. And,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
being what I felt was like I took care of my body. I didn't, I wasn't out there abusing things, and
No, you were an
I
athlete.
always,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was the other aspect. I was like, hold on. I was like, is my body betraying me? And then when I found out that I had, what I had, I also realized like I was betraying my body because
Hmm.
I was also like I wasn't doing the right thing for it. And so there was just that other aspect, man. And one of the things too I wanted to share is I missed events, man. I miss people's life events. I
Yeah.
was best man at my friend's wedding, uh, and ended up. I actually had to go to the ER, and I missed
Oh,
going to his wedding. I missed my step grandma's funeral a couple years ago. I missed couple of weddings and funerals and, just engagements and all that type of stuff, bachelor parties. I mean, all of those things, man, they add up, and then people
Yeah.
start questioning you. That's the part that I really wanted to come on here and share, was that people question you and they don't really know what's going on because they don't see it. And so I
Yeah.
think that's the other part of this. And that's why I wanted to, come on here and share, but also, like, I know someone else is going through the same thing. They're always being questioned, and, you know, it, being unheard is probably one of the worst things that that could happen to a person.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Well, and I bring this story up once in a while, but this is a great illustration of it. You're talking about people not getting it. They start to second guess you, and, oh, you're not that great a friend because you blew me off for this. You're not there for that. You know what though? They don't know everything, and it reminds me of the illustration of the guy that pulls up to this grocery store and parks in the handicap spot. He's got the plates, right? Everything's legit. He jumps out of the car. He kind of walks briskly into the supermarket, comes out with his bags a few minutes later, puts them in the car, drives away. Everybody thinks he stole grandma's car with the handicap plates, right? What's that jerk doing? That prick, he took somebody's car. He doesn't deserve that parking spot, right? And all the things start bubbling up in your brain, right? And you're like accusing this guy. What if that guy has chronic fatigue, or maybe he's got a rare form of cancer, or maybe he's got something going on that he had to take an extra couple doses of his medication and pain meds and take a 2-hour nap so he could have the strength to go to the store for those 30 minutes. And then he drives home, and that's his one accomplishment for the whole day, and he passes out for the rest of the afternoon. You don't know what else is going on in somebody's life. So, that's
So,
a,
so
you know,
I found this a couple of years ago, about a year and a half ago, and
yeah,
like, when I got this, like, it saved me.
yeah,
But
yeah.
to use it, you would not. I got cussed out so many times. I got Campbell's cans thrown at me a couple of
Oh,
times by
yeah.
this older lady, and, and my parents were like, "You need to use that more often." I'm like, I look healthy.
Right.
Also, I went to go. I can't remember if it was Thanksgiving or Christmas,
Yeah.
and my my grandmother goes, "Man, he sure as hell doesn't look sick. Like, he doesn't look sick. He doesn't look like he has blood cancer." And I just walked out because I had to take a deep breath, and just because I knew she didn't understand.
No.
And at the same time, it hurt me because it was like, now she doesn't believe in me. Like, and she just said this in front of the whole family. Now I got that on my back. And so that was the other part of it that I honestly, man, there's parts of that I haven't even probably journaled on, because there's been so many other things I've been worried about rather than how other people, respond to,
Yeah.
something that happened 16 years ago.
Well, sometimes it's just you got to take one thing at a time. Go one layer of the onion at a time, man. You got to, deal with one part of life, and then maybe you'll get to the next one later. You know, I mean, or maybe you don't. I mean, I remember working at a school for several years, and that last brain surgery in 2021 landed right toward the end of that career, and in fact, that brain surgery was the cause of that career ending because of the side effects of that surgery. And I remember there was a lot of people that came back and wanted to still work at the school, and I went there for 2 years and just kept cutting back, cutting back, cutting back. I finally had to leave. But during those 2 years, I experienced exactly what you're talking about multiple times. And they weren't trying to be malicious about it. They were just stating, like, some people just say things that they don't even know that they said. Like, people just, they can't stay silent. They have to say something, you know? And sometimes it comes out and it sounds kind of mean or kind of dumb, you know? I dealt with that for 2 years at that school before I left. In my experience, I didn't hold it against them. They just didn't know the whole story, right? Like, even was it your grandma, you said?
Yeah.
That was, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know it's hard when it's a family member like that, when they're throwing you under the bus like that. I don't know how that would resonate with. But I don't know. I personally, I was just like, look, that was my remedy for my mental state, to keep my mental state where it needed to be. It was like, they don't get it. They don't understand. They never will, you know? So moving on. I don't know.
Yeah. You know, even with the PTSD from the shooting, man, like I had people who just did not understand that, hey, like I didn't want to go in that area.
Yes.
I missed a friend's funeral, and literally the funeral home's 100 feet away from where the shooting was, and they didn't understand that. Like that put me in a bad position because guess what? I could spiral,
Yeah. Oh,
and
100%.
people just don't really understand like what type of position you're putting yourself in, because then you're bringing the trauma to your face, and you're looking
Yeah.
at it and you're saying, okay, and I wasn't prepared to deal with it at that point.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. I it's not from experiencing anything like you have, but 49 years of medical, stuff. I was diagnosed in December of last year with medical PTSD. So and that forced a whole bunch of stuff to the surface that we've been working through for the last 6 or 8 months, and same kind of thing. I could not. My wife's mom went into the hospital for like overnight one time, and we went in there to visit her. That sent me, talk about a spiral. At the time, that sent me down the spiral, man. I was a mess the rest of the day. Nobody understood why. I didn't even understand why, you know. But that PTSD thing is real. It's no joke.
Yeah,
So
it's an ugly monster, and it's the thing
it
that
is.
you don't realize. And to go into it is I basically would stay awake at night and I'd sleep in the day because I knew that I could get away from people. I could get
Yeah.
away from if I did have a reaction. I didn't have other people being able to react and be worried about me.
Yeah.
And one thing is, Jeff, is I don't like to compare my trauma to other people's trauma.
No. No.
That's something that like, I hear that sometimes where people are like, well, you went through a lot more. And I'm like, man, I don't know what you went through, but like whatever you went through is your experience. And yes, it's like I want to validate it if you don't validate it.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, and the cool thing is to kind of bring this around, because it didn't what I've been through didn't stop me. I'm here. I'm hosting this TV show. It's been on the air over almost 3.5 years. I'm launching another show in probably August. That one's going to launch. I mean, this did not stop me, and it didn't stop you either. You're working with athletes. You're coaching people. I mean, tell us what you're doing, man, because that's the cool part of the story. That's the redeeming part of the story, is what you're doing now, despite all that.
Yeah, I mean, so I want to start with the book because the book I
Yeah.
dropped it on the anniversary of the shooting because I knew
Nice.
mindset, take the negative day, turn it to a positive day.
Love
But
that.
but once I found out that I was misdiagnosed, Jeff, I just knew that I couldn't get that 18 and a half years back. I knew that like, hey, I can just respond. And how I respond is going to be how people look at my legacy. But I knew that I had to have a purpose to be brought through all of this. And that was what I did for like 2 years was I just kind of chipped away, and I was consistent at chipping away. And then I was looking for people to help. And
Hmm.
so for me is I got to use my athletic accomplishments and to teach mental performance to athletes. That was one thing that I always wanted to do. So I'm able to do that. And then it became the resilience integrity coaching. I feel like they go together. It's not resilience and integrity. I feel like it's both because
It's yeah.
yeah. And so I coach that. And then the beautiful thing is about speaking, I have a podcast. I created another podcast for men's mental health in the last, we did that 30-day series that you were a part of. And I appreciate you for showing up for me with that. But that's the thing is like, I want people to know that like I'm one of those type of people who are willing to do what other people are unwilling to do. And
Hmm.
that's the beautiful part about me being me. And it's it I don't know what's going to happen next. I believe I'm going to be speaking on stages, bigger stages, and speaking to
Yeah.
universities, those type of things. And that's really what I'm working on right now, and to host like live events and those type of things at some point. But really, man, it's just how can I help other people? That's my thing. That's my mission. When I wake up in the morning, it's how can I support and help other people?
Yeah. I love that. And first, let me tell you, it is an honor to have my name listed among so many of the other people that you had at that event. I mean, good Lord, you had some amazing speakers. I was like every day I was looking, I was like, holy crap, how did he get that person to give me like, ooh, what kind of connection did he have to that person? That's amazing. So those are stories for a whole different show, maybe. But man, you had some powerful people at that event. So well done, well done. How did
Thanks,
that
man.
turn out? By the way, that was I mean that was an amazing accomplishment, man. 30 days in a row. That was
Man,
amazing.
it, I think it was an amazing experience. It's
Yeah.
something that I got to grow through. I got to
Hmm.
learn for 30 days through people who have been dealing with other men's mental health. And then I got moved to go into that part. So I'm also like, I want to coach in the men's mental health part. And so there's just that other aspect of that. It like moved me to go in and say, okay, I'm starting a new podcast in men's mental health. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest, Jeff, I did not want to go to that. I was like, no, I'm willing to do the business coaching. I want to do all the fun stuff. Do not want to deal with, with that. And it moved me so much, but also it was supported. It was created 5 days before the first day. And it just
Yeah.
was so supported. It's like you said, I had a lot of really great speakers on there. And then to find out that three of my better known speakers didn't even get to show up. And
Oh
so
no.
that was the other aspect. And so I'm sure we'll do it again next year, and it'll be even bigger. And I'd love to
Love
invite
it.
you again to come speak on it.
It'd be my honor. I would love that. That would be amazing. Yeah. Keep me in mind for sure. I would love that. Yeah. That's one of my favorite things to do is get my story out, man. Because just like you, I mean, your story, my story, so many people's stories, just they need to get out there. There's no, I know people say, oh, it's another motivational, whatever. It's like, no. No, on this show over the last 3.5 years, we've got over 350 episodes out there. I've had multiple episodes where I've had the same type of thing on, like traumatic brain injury, maybe, or fibromyalgia, or different types of uh, I don't know, different stuff, autoimmune stuff. But everybody's story is so different, right? So I don't mind. I don't mind having repeat stories because everybody's story, like repeat conditions, because everybody's story is so different. And so
Yeah.
that's what I love here. So
So,
it's
so
so
that's
cool.
what I did for that
Yeah.
podcast series. I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that the stories were different as much as possible, and that
Right.
so other people could learn and have different perspectives. Uh, but really, a story is just a story. And
Yeah.
I tell people that all the time. Maybe I have the greatest story, but if I don't know how to facilitate the lesson to you, then I don't know how to give you value. And then that story is pretty useless, honestly, from my point of view. And so that's the thing
Yeah.
is I want to make sure I give value to people. And I don't have to be everything for everyone. I just have to give value to everyone. And that's
Right.
that's the beauty of it is when I'm able to facilitate the lessons to others so they don't have to go through the lesson.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good point for sure because stories are great, but what does it accomplish? you know but if you can help somebody skip a step, if you can help somebody get there faster than you did, or accomplish something faster or better than you did, like that's the deal. That's it right there. So yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Well, so what we got, I don't know, we got about 10 minutes left here. I don't want to, I want to be mindful of the time here, but maybe one of the last things we talk about here is I'm sure there's in the viewers that are watching right now, I'm sure there are people facing struggles that are invisible, that nobody else understands. Maybe you've been misdiagnosed. Maybe it's something that just got dropped on you like a ton of bricks and you're still reeling with the diagnosis. What's one mindset shift that helped you move from woe is me, which I didn't stay there very long, but everybody stays there for a minute. How did you shift from that to, okay, moving on, what's next, you know?
Yeah, I mean, so I think you have to set in it. That's the other thing. I think you need to set in it for just a little bit and alchemize what you're into and realize that,
Yep.
hey, this is a situation. What am I learning from it?
Yeah.
And then attack it. And when I say attack it, that doesn't mean like go
Yeah.
physically go run or go climb a mountain. It
Oh
means
no.
in your mind to take it and start breaking it apart into smaller steps and then just grow consistently. So that
Yeah.
would be my first thing is like I'm really big into this is have a plan, create a plan. And if you can find a mentor who has already went through it, go get a mentor who can help you make the plan because it's going to help you. It's going to
Yeah.
be more easy. It's going to be more, I'm not going to say, I hate the word easy. It's going to be more simple. And so that
Simple.
would be,
There's a difference. Yeah.
yes. So,
Yeah.
that's the other aspect is find the person who can help you through that. So those were the
Yes.
first two mindset shifts is like, hey, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Be curious, find people. So these are mindset shifts is just say, hey, what am I looking to learn from? How can I get better? And also be graceful to yourself.
Yes.
If you're not graceful to yourself and you're beating yourself up, you're going to prolong the struggle. Be graceful and realize that you are doing the best that you can at that particular time.
Right.
And 5 years from now, you're probably going to go back and say, I should have done this. I should have done that. Swipe that from the
Right.
whiteboard and just say, hey, that doesn't exist. So
Right.
I'd say those are the mindset shifts is just be great. Just realize that the same grace that you would give someone else, you should give yourself.
Yeah.
Self-care is so important, Jeff, when you're going through things like this, is to be easy with yourself because you're also going through some type of trauma through it. You're
Yeah.
also dealing with other people dealing with it and it coming
Yeah.
and it being a part of your life. And that's what I would do is I would tell them to just be focus on self-care and focus on creating healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Healthy
Yeah.
boundaries was one thing I wish I would have done. And I just said, you're going to
Yeah.
go back. And that's the thing about with me with coaching is that I want people to learn from my errors and my
Totally.
lessons so I can tell them, hey, create these healthy boundaries. And when you see these people cross your healthy boundary, say, hey, this is not good for me. Like, I appreciate the help or I appreciate this. Back off. It's
Yeah.
going to be, you're going to get more respect, and that respect is just going to go to you and you're going to feel better about the situation.
Right. Well, and you said something right at the beginning of that I wanted to touch on again, and that's, I have a lot of people that I've talked to. I've probably interviewed. I mean, I've interviewed over 350 people on this show, but I've probably interviewed twice as many that either for one reason or another didn't make it on the show yet. Maybe they will later, but some of those that I've talked to, it's funny. And it's very distinctive. They stand out. They didn't want to acknowledge. Some of them are like, well, I won't say it out loud. I won't say the condition's name out loud. I won't give it. I won't acknowledge it. I don't want to acknowledge it because then it has power. I'm like, but you almost have to, don't you? You almost have to acknowledge it so that you can confront it and move on and like move past it. I don't know. It seems like denial otherwise to me.
I
Am
think
I
you
crazy?
identify. I think you identify it, but I mean, I don't know that person and their belief. That's the other
And
thing. Is
there's been multiple. I'm just kind of at a blanket statement there. I've had just a few, but yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, it still goes back to their beliefs, Jeff. Is like when you
that's true.
believe something, and then when people really break down the word belief and they see that middle word lie, That's what they need to realize when you get into beliefs and like it's just based on your experience. So
Right.
so here, Jeff, do you like chocolate ice cream?
Not particularly.
Okay, most people would be like, "Oh, I love chocolate ice cream." I
I
am
love
not
ice
a bit
cream. I'm just not a
right.
fan of chocolate. Yeah.
A chocolate, right? But that's probably one of the most people's favorite. And
Popular.
so,
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
right. So if you're in a room of people who love chocolate ice cream, then you're going to be in the minority. But then
Right.
if you go into somebody another room and they're all their favorites is vanilla, and people would be like, "Well, I was in a room and everybody picked vanilla or they picked strawberry." It's just that simple. It
Yeah,
just depends on what room you're in. And
exactly.
same thing with beliefs. And it's you know, I'll be honest, like doing these podcasts and doing these speaking things, it's simple for me. Most
Yeah.
people are scared to death of it. Most people are nervous. I've never
Yeah.
been nervous on this microphone.
Right. I didn't, I've always been pretty comfortable talking to people too. It's just, it was a little bit of a mindset shift to do it here, but, but I agree with you. I'm kind of that way too. If I do get nervous, it maybe because of the person that I'm going to be talking to, like I don't, more because I don't want to mess it up. Like I don't want to, I want to do a good job for them, but they're just a person. They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like you and me, you know. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
And
totally.
that's the other thing is the guests get bigger and bigger and bigger. They still do the same thing. And like I'm a
Yeah,
huge Michael Jordan fan. If
yeah,
I went and I saw him on the street, I still would treat him just like a normal human being. Now I
yeah.
would say, "Hey, like it's cool to meet you." Like that type of stuff, but I'm not going to be over and fanboy him. Like it's just that's the type of person I am.
Right. Me, I agree. I totally get it. I'm the same way. Yeah. Treat that person with respect. Don't drool all over them. you know, just they probably don't like that either. But yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man. I just realized where we are time wise, man. We got about a minute left. Is there anything that you want to in this last 60 seconds? What do you want to leave our audience with, man?
Yeah. Um there's people out there who probably feel unloved, unseen, unheard. And I just want you to know that there's people out there that hear you, see you, and love you. It's just, it's not that season right now. And when you realize that it's not that season and you realize that you're just in another room and those other people are coming in, keep that hope and keep that faith of things will get better. And I know that for a fact is sometimes you got to let go of things and people to attract the things that you're truly value that people truly value, but also things that are for you that come in because you
Yeah.
hold a box and expect to get another box. You don't only have two hands, and
Yeah.
some people don't have any hands, or so there's another aspect of that. But that's what I would say is just be very mindful of your energy.
Yeah. 100%. Totally, yeah, because that's a big deal. Yeah, you can feel it when you come in the room, man. You can for sure. Yeah, I love that, man. Well, hey, I, Dwayne, I am so glad that we put this together. I know it took a little bit, took a little longer than I thought it was going to, but it was, life is life, right? And I'm so glad that we landed here on this day, and it's been an honor, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. And I just believe in divine timing. And tonight was the night that it was chosen. So
Yep. I appreciate that, man, for sure. Well, thank you. Awesome. Oh, everybody, this is good stuff. I am so thankful that we got to do this. Dwayne is amazing, and I cannot wait. Can't wait to have him on again. We can't wait too long to do that again. Maybe in a few months, or maybe next season we'll have him on again. That'd be fun. See what he's up to then. But oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking your time and bringing your friends. Good Lord, you have helped us grow this audience so much, and I'm so grateful to all of you for being here and for helping us grow. no matter where you're watching from. You know, if it's Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, E360, whatever. Thank you. Join us for our next episode on Tuesday, July 21st. And until then, have an amazing day, and we'll see you next time.